Barak, Shalom, everyone. It's Out the Box Kingdom. Talk with me, Out the Box Kingdom. I hope you all are having a wonderful yum. As you can see, I am outside trying to enjoy the wonderful sunlight, the natural light of the Most High versus artificial light, right? But I wanted to come on here. I really want to talk to y'all about something. And today I was finishing up the book of Yashrael. And it was about, I was finishing up the parts about, I was in chapter 50, I read from 50 to 51. And then, of course, 50, 53 and 52, just finishing up the scriptures. And we know that the Most High Yahuah is going to take care of his children, the remnant, and even their families. But we also know that the world is in the time of punishment. We're starting to see tornadoes hit towns. And it makes me think of that scripture, they're going to try to rebuild, but I'm going to tear it down, says Yahuah, right? And it's about to be a lot of woes, weeping, gnashing of teeth, and lamenting. That's getting ready to go across the whole arets. He says it time and time again. In Yashrael, the time of punishment, he says it time and time again that it's going to be pains like a woman that that's in labor. He says it from time and time again that he's going to send these people from the north. And if you know scriptures from Bereshit, we know that Japheth, the tribe of Japheth was in the north, that's in the northern regions, right? But he's going to make these people fierce. And they're going to go in on Babel. You know what I'm saying? But however, the Most High, like I was saying on my other platform, that when it came to Job, when Job was going through his process, the Most High sent the messenger to put a seal on Job before his process had even started, right? Before he went through his tearing down to be uprooted, because he told the adversary, you may touch his body and inflict everything else, but you cannot kill his soul. But we know the Most High can kill the body and the soul, right? And we know that the Most High will not be mocked, right? So I wanted to come on here because I don't really come on here and share dreams like that, especially if I know they're pertaining to me. But what I saw last night in my dream, I know it was directly from scripture. And that was, I literally saw the black horse in my dream last night. And I knew when I saw the black horse, I said, that is definitely from you, Yah, and that is in Revelation about the black horse. Okay. Because America is Babylon. So whatever is getting ready to happen here is all in Yah's control. You can't pray out of it. You cannot flee from it. It don't matter what country you go to. The judgment of Yah is all across the arets because what they have done to his inheritance, which is Yashrael. You know what I'm saying? And it's not even about the bloodline, it's about the heart posture. And he does clearly say, he always say, come out of her, my people, so you won't get caught up in the displeasure of Yahuah. Yah is not playing. And the time of this so-called passive grace is up. The only people that's going to get the grace of Yah is those that have completely forsaken the system of Babylon. Let me tell y'all something. Those that still doing the hustle and bustle and yet your pocket still has holes. Let me tell you, we're in a time that you're going to be working hard, but they're going to remove the straw from you. You're going to be working hard, but your pay is going to be less than what you worked. Is it worth you dying for nothing, or coming out of it and saying, I trust in the Most High Yahuah that he will provide? Because let me tell you something, in the time of famine, Yah showed up for his people. He showed up for Yashrael and Mizraim. He showed up for the woman when he sent Eliyahu and there was a famine in the land. And she said, me and my son going to eat this flour, this bread and this water and die. But he said, if you serve me, you will not starve. And the Most High made sure that her flour multiplied. She never ran out. So people are even stressing out, well, how I'm going to stock up with this when I can barely pay this. But let me tell y'all something. If you read Exodus, Yah made it hard to get the children prepared to want to leave Mitzrayim. That's how bad it got. People are trying to hold on to voting rights and all this other stuff. Why? You're voting these wicked people. You're coming in a covenant, in an agreement with these people that is totally against the Most High Yahuah and his word. Did y'all not forget when Shemiel had to anoint Saul? And the people was crying out, talking about, we want a man ruler over us like the other nations do. And the Most High had to tell Shemiel, because Shemiel got sad. He said, they're not rejecting you, they're rejecting me. But let them know, when I appoint this person over them, he's going to use their daughters as servants, and their son is going to go into their wars. And what is going on right now? The same thing. There's nothing new under the sun. You know what I'm saying? They're genociding. You know what I'm saying? Everything is written. The whole blueprint is in his words. If you just sit there and read. They're going to say peace, peace, but there ain't going to be no peace. The prophets are going to be speaking, thus says, false prophets are going to be speaking, thus says, alot by Baal. Divination. The itching and tickling in the ears. And Babylon ain't going to see what's going to be coming. Come out of her, my people, says Yahuah. So people are going to be panic shopping, trying to panic shop. You got people that got bunkers thinking of themselves. But wherever the wealthy has stored up their treasure is going to be given onto Yahuah's children, because he's going to destroy them out of the land. Like, people is upset now because spirit. Look how people went into having a job one day and the next day they come in and they don't even have a job now. And it's not just a person that's a Hebrew. But not all people are Hebrews. But you get what I'm saying? Look what happened to spirit. They're now pulling the plugs on the low, or should I say the affordable flights now. And people say, look, they're trying to take our flight. Let me tell you something. Before the resurrection have to happen, it's going to have to be a lot of deaths in this arret. And that's even things that we've been so accustomed to, as in transportation, okay? Yah is doing you a favor. Yes, we've been accustomed to being in the sky and seeing the clouds and stuff like that. But do you want to be on something where they're partially putting unreliable parts on something that's supposed to be transporting you from point A to point B? I mean, look what they're doing to the vehicles, these newer vehicles, and trying to get rid of the old one. But you being in the sky, and all of a sudden they decide that they want to cut it off. And that's you. Done. So let the rich and the wicked be the only ones that's able to fly in the sky. Because remember, vengeance is our Yahuah, and however he wants to do that, that's how he's going to do. So what you weeping for? As long as you have a vehicle and you can get to point A and point B, if gas get high, then maybe you ain't supposed to be traveling right now. I hate to put it like that. Maybe you're supposed to be still and know that he is Yahuah. Did you ever think about that? I really feel like in my Ruach that this so-called July 4th is going to be very different. It's not going to feel so patriotic or anything. Mm-mm. July 4th is not going to feel the same. Mm-mm. Because Babylon is fallen. So I'm going to go and I'm going to read these couple of scriptures, and then I'm going to go into the scripture about the black hordes. And people have been trying to prepare themselves naturally. Naturally versus spiritually, but you better be preparing yourself spiritually. You better be making sure that you are a wise virgin and not the foolish. Like these Christians that's following these fake prophets and going to these conferences thinking that they're getting filled with the oil, and they're getting filled with some watered down fake canola oil. Okay? They're not even getting their menorahs filled. It's full of vanity. You know what I'm saying? That's why the Most High said, do not compare ourselves to what somebody else is doing, because you don't even know how they got it. It's going to come a time even degrees ain't going to matter, and they already showing that. They can burn up the paper, but they can't take away the seal from you. Now, the Most High, if he wants to, he could, you know. But this is a time to prepare yourself spiritually, but also sharpen your skills, something you're great at. The Most High has given us the ability to make wealth. And remember, when Yosef was in his position, the Mitzrites had to come and sell their stuff to him to get the resources that they had. So it's not the end of the world. Look, let me tell you something. They think that they're oppressing us, but they're falling in their own pit. They fall in their own pit. And there's nothing they can do about it. Okay? So let me read Jeremiah 50, and we go on. Alright. The word that Yahuah spoke concerning Babel, concerning the land of the Chaldeans by Jeremiah the Nebaim, declare among the Goyim, and let it be heard. And lift up a banner, and let it be heard, and do not conceal it. Say, Babel shall be taken, Baal shall be put to shame, Merodach shall be broken, her images shall be put to shame, her idols shall be broken. For a nation shall come up against her from the north, which shall make her land waste, and none shall dwell in it. They shall flee, they shall go, both man and beast, and those yeomen. And at the time, says Yahuah, the children of Yashrael shall come, they and the children of Yehudah together, weeping, as they come and seek Yahuah their alot. They shall ask the way to Sion, their faces towards it, and come and let us join ourselves to Yahuah in an everlasting covenant, never to be forgotten. My people have been wandering sheep. Their shepherds have led them astray, turning them away on the mountains. They have gone from mountain to hill, and they have forgotten their resting place. All who have found them have devoured them, and their adversaries have said, we are not guilty, because they have sinned against Yahuah, the home of obedience, and the expectation of their fathers. Yahuah. Flee from the midst of Babel and come out of the land of the Chaldeans, and be as rams before a flock. For look, I am stirring up and bringing up against Babel an assembly of great Goyim from a land of the north. Now, if y'all didn't know, when Yahuah was getting ready to always bring judgment, whether it was on Mitzrayim, whether it was on Yashrael, whatever, it was always from the north. Just remember that. That's why I said we know that the tribe of Japheth they migrated up north, right? and they shall array themselves against her. For there she shall be captured. The arrows are like those of mighty skilled men, not returning empty-handed. And Chaldea shall become a plunder. All who plunder her shall satisfy themselves, says Yahuwah. Because you were glad, because you rejoice, who plunder my inheritance, because you have grown fat like a heifer threshing grain, and you neigh like stallions. Your mother shall be greatly ashamed. She who bore you shall be humiliated. Look, the last of the Goyim, a wilderness, a dry land, and a desert. Because of the wrath of Yahuwah, she shall not be inhabited, but she shall be deserted, all of it. Everyone passing by Babel shall be astonished and whistle at her plagues. There go the plagues again. Set yourselves in array against Babel all around, all you who bend the bow. Shoot at her, spare no arrows, for she has sinned against Yahuwah. So look, let me tell you something. The stuff that's coming for Babel, we're going to just say that for now. Babel, there ain't going to be no sparing. See, Babel been so accustomed to going into other people's land and causing chaos for them, but they never would have thought that the tables would turn for them. But let me tell you, Yahuwah remembered everything. He noted everything. Remember, Constantine used the cross to divide and conquer. So, there we go. But they have to understand they're the ones that sinned against Yahuwah. They sinned against us, but we're the reflection of Yahuwah. So, yeah. There's a cost to be the boss, right? Okay. Shout against her all around. She has given her hand, her foundations are fallen, her walls are thrown down, for it is the vengeance of Yahuwah. Take vengeance on her, as she has done, so do to her. Cut off the sword from Babel, and him who handles the sickle at harvest time. From before the sword of the oppressor, each one turns to his own people, and each one flees to his own land. Yashrael is a scattered sheep. The lions have driven him away. First, the Malek of Ashur devoured him, and now at last this Nebuchadnezzar, Malek of Babel, has broken his bones. Therefore, thus says Yahuwah Sabaoth, the alot of Yashrael, see, I am punishing the king of Babel and his land, as I have punished the king of Ashur. I shall bring back Yashrael to his pasture, and he shall feed on Carmel and Bashan, and his being shall be satisfied on Mount Ephraim and Gilead. And in those yeomen, and at that time, says Yahuwah, the lawlessness of Yashrael shall be searched for, but there shall be none. And the sin of Yahuwah, and the sin of Yehuda, but none shall be, because God don't ever sin. But the sin of Yehuda, but none shall be found. For I shall pardon those whom I leave as a remnant. Go up against the land of Merathaim, against it and against the inhabitants of Pekod. Slay and put them under the ban, says Yahuwah. Remember, those that are placed under the ban, when Yah said, place someone under the ban, which you'll see in the book of Yahusha, the ban was those cities and those places that was not in the favor of Yah, and he destroyed them. So just remember that. And do according to all that I have commanded you. There is a sound of battle in the land and of great destruction. How the hammer of all the arets have been cut off and broken. How Babel has become a ruin among the Goyim. I have laid a snare for you, and you were captured, O Babel, and you yourself did not know it. And you did not know. Babel don't even know that they've been captured. You have been found and also caught because you strove against Yahuwah. Yahuwah has opened his armory. and has bought out the weapon of his displeasure. For Adon Alua Sabaoth has a work to do in the land of the Chaldeans. Come against her from every quarter and open your storehouses. Pile her up as heaps of ruins and put her under the ban. Let her have no remnant. Slay all her bulls. Let them go down to the slaughter. Woe to them, for their yom has come, the time of their punishment. Listen, they flee and escape from the land of Babel to declare in Zion the vengeance of Yahuah, Alua, the vengeance of his Hekal. And if you don't know what Hekal means, that means temple in Hebrew. Summon archers against Babel, all you who bend the bow, and camp against it all around, and let no one escape. You know what? I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I know Esau was an archer, but I believe Yashrael was also an archer as well. So I would not be surprised if this is not the descendants of Yashrael, because he always been known. He got an inheritance too of Abraham, but he also was saying he's going to be fighting with his brothers for it. You know what I'm saying? So he'll be always fighting. So this is someone that always, you know, when we said we done fought all our life, no, Yashrael been fighting. That's all he do know is war. Okay? So just to keep that in mind, y'all. Repay her according to her work, and do to her according to all she has done. But she has been proud against Yahuah, against the Kodesh one of Yashrael. Therefore her young men shall fall in the street, and all her men of battle shall perish in that yom. Let me stop there right quick. And this is very sad, because the whole brainwashing of the Military and making people think that they're invincible, and that because they wear a uniform is honorary, but it's a trap. And it makes me sad every time they have these holidays, Memorial Day, Vet Day, and all this other stuff, when these people have sacrificed and died for a vain war. And this is why it's so important, especially you, Yashrael. And if you got family members, they trying to push their children up into the military because they think it's their way out or it's going to better their life. Don't do it. There are other ways. But if they do allow them to go, we pray that we allow that the Most High protects them, that they, you know, that they will get spared, and that they don't die in the land of, you know what I'm saying? But if it does happen, it's already written in the books. It's already right here about what will happen to the men in their battles. They're going to perish. So anyway, let's keep going, says Yahuah. See, I am against you, O proud one, says Adon Yahuah Sabaoth. For your yom has come, and the time of your punishment. There it is again. And the proud one shall stumble, and he shall fall with no one to raise him up. And I shall kindle a fire in his cities. We've been seeing all these cities catching on fire. I'm surprised Disneyland ain't caught on fire yet, but yeah, we're starting to see these sundown towns and these sundown courthouses catch on fire, right? And it's not just in one place, it's starting to spread, just like over there in California. See, around this time, usually California be catching on fire, but isn't this something? I think it's happening in Texas getting hit by tornadoes and hailstorms because that, like I said, that old Indian statue, golden statue that been erected down there. But then you got Florida and Georgia, getting ate up by fires. All right. I shall kindle a fire in his cities, and it shall devour all around him. Thus says Yahuah Sabaoth. The children of Yashrael were oppressed along with the children of Yehudah, and all who took them captive have held them fast, and they refused to let them go. Their Redeemer is strong. Yahuah Sabaoth is his name, and he shall strongly plead their case, so as to give rest to the land, but unrest to the inhabitants of Babel. Well, he gonna give us rest, but he ain't about to give Babel no rest, okay? A sword is upon the Chaldeans, says Yahuah, and it is upon the inhabitants of Babel, and upon her heads, and upon her wise men. A sword is upon the liars, and they shall be fools. A sword is upon her mighty men, and they shall be broken down. A sword is upon their horses, and upon their chariots, and upon all the mixed peoples who are in her midst, and they shall become like women. A sword is upon her treasures, and they shall be plundered. A sword is upon her maiden, and they shall be dried up. For it is a land of carved images, and they boast about their idols. Therefore the wild desert beast shall dwell with the jackals, and the ostriches dwell in it. And it shall never again be inhabited, nor dealt in to all generation. As Yahuwah overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah and their nearby cities, says Yahuwah, so no one would dwell there, and nor would Son of Man sojourn in it. See, a people shall come from the north, a great nation, and many Melicans stir up from the ends of the arets. They lay hold of the bow and spear. They are cruel, and they show no compassion. They sound like the roaring sea and ride on horses, set in array like a man for the battle against you, O daughter of Babel. The Malek of Babel has heard the report about them. Look, so listen to this. So ain't no mistake. They know about, they're getting the reports of these people coming from the north. So they're not naive of what they're coming up against. But listen to this. The Malek of Babel has heard the report about them, and his hands became weak. The stress has seized him in pain like that of an asher in labor. See, he comes up like a lion from the Yarden jungle against the enduring pasture. But in an instant I shall make them run away from her. And who is the chosen one who I appointed against her? For who is like me, who summons me? And who is that shepherd who stands before me? Therefore hear the counsel of Yahuwah, which he has counseled concerning Babel. In his purposes he has purpose concerning the land of the Chaldeans. The least of the flock shall drag them away, and he shall make their pasture a waste before them. At the sound of Babel's capture, the arets shall be shaken, and the outcry shall be heard among the Goyim. Alright, so let's go into 51 now, because this is a continuance. Y'all is going in, so let us continue. Thus says Yahuwah, see, I am stirring up the ruach of a destroyer against Babel, against those who dwell in Leb, my opponent. And I shall send winnowers to Babel, who shall winnow her and empty her land. For they shall be against her all around in the yom of evil. Let the archer draw his bow, and let him stand ready in his armor. Do not spare her young men, and put all her army under the ban. Look, we know that Babel has what, 7 so-called military so-called, I think at least 7 military branches. But he said, put all her army under the ban. That's sad. And the slain shall fall in the land of the Chaldeans, and the pierced through in her streets. For neither Yashrael nor Yehuda is widowed by his allure, Yahuwah Sabaoth. Though their land has been filled with sin against the Kodesh one of Yashrael, flee from the midst of Babel, and let each one save his life. Do not be cut off in her lawlessness, for this is the time of the vengeance of Yahuwah, the recompense. He is repaying her. Babel was a golden cup in the hand of Yahuwah, making drunk all the arets. The Goyim drank her wine, and that is why the Goyim went mad. Babel shall suddenly fall and be broken. Howl for her. Take balm for her pain. If so, she might be healed. We would have healed Babel, but she is not healed. Let us leave her, and each go into his own land, for her judgment reaches to the Shemayim, and is lifted up to the clouds. Yahuwah has brought forth our obedient. Come, let us relate and Zion the work of Yahuwah our Elohim. Polish the arrows and put on the shields. Yahuwah has stirred up the ruach of the Melicans of the Medes. For his plan is against Babel to destroy it. because it is the vengeance of Yahuah, the vengeance for his Hekal. Lift up a banner on the walls of Babel and strengthen the watch. Station the watchman. Station the watchman. Look. Prepare the ambush. For Yahuah has both planned and done what he has spoke concerning the inhabitants of Babel. See? Yahuah has planned and done. So you can't pull out, nobody can pull out themselves out of what's getting ready to happen across the whole arets. It's just more so making sure that you are on the right side. All right. You who dwell upon many million, great in treasures, your end has come. The measure of your greedy gain. Yahuah Sabaoth has sworn by himself, I shall certainly fill you with men, as with locusts, and they shall lift up a shout against you. He made the arets by his power. He established the world by his wisdom and stretched out the Shemayim by his understanding. When he gives forth his voice, the million and the Shemayim roar, and he makes vapors to ascend from the ends of the arets. He makes lightning for the rain, and he brings the wind out of his treasuries. All mankind has become too brutish to know, and every smith has been put to shame by the carved image. For his molded image is falsehood, and there is no breath in them. They are worthless, a work of mockery. In the time of their punishment, they perish. The portion of Jacob is not like them, for he is the maker of all, and Yashrael is the tribe of his inheritance. Yahuah Sabaoth is his name. You are my battle axe, weapons of battle, and with you I shall break Goyim in pieces. With you I shall destroy reins, and with you I shall break in pieces the sus, which is horse in Hebrew, and its rider. And with you I shall break in pieces the chariot and its rider. And with you I shall break in pieces Aish, which is man, and Asha, women. With you I shall break in pieces old and young. With you I shall break in pieces the young men and the maiden. And with you I shall break in pieces the shepherd and his flock. And with you I shall break in pieces the farmer and his oxen. With you I shall break in pieces governors and rulers. And I shall repay Babel and all the inhabitants of Chaldea for all the evil they have done in Zion before your eyes, says Yahuah. See, I'm against you, O destroying mountain, who destroys all the arets, says Yahuah. And I shall stretch out my hand against you. I shall roll you down from the rocks and make you a burnt mountain. And they shall not take from you a Aben, which is stone, for a corner, nor a Aben, stone. For Aben means stone in Hebrew, for a foundation. But you shall be a waste forever, says Yahuah. Lift up as a nas, which is a banner, sign, or a flag, in the land, and blow the ram's horn among the Goyim. Prepare the Goyim against her, and call the reins together against her. Arets, Mini, and Ashkenaz. Look at that. They own people that they so-called been defending on turn against them. Appoint a commander against her and bring up forces like hairy locusts. Separate the Goyim against her with the Melicans of Medes, its governors and its rulers, all the land of his rule, so that the land shakes and the rights in pain. For every plan of Yahuah shall be established against Babel, to make the land of Babel a ruin without inhabitant. The mighty men of Babel have ceased to fight. They remained in their strongholds. Their might has failed, and they became like women. They have burnt her dwelling places. The bars of her gate has been broken. One runner runs to meet another, and one reporter to meet another, to report to the Malek of Babel that his city is taken on all sides. And the forts have been captured, and they have burnt the reeds with fire, and the soldiers were startled. But thus says Yahuah Sabaoth, the alot of Yashrael, the daughter of Babel, is like a threshing floor at the time it is trodden. And yet a little while, and the time of her harvest shall come. Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babel, has devoured us, and he has crushed us. He has made us an empty vessel, He has swallowed us up like a monster. He has filled his stomach with my delicacies. He has driven us away, and let the violence done to me and my flesh be upon Babel, says the inhabitants of Sion. And let my blood be upon the inhabitants of Chaldea, says Jerusalem. Therefore, thus says Yahuwah, see, I'm pleading your case, and I shall take vengeance for you, and dry up her sea, and make her fountain dry. And Babel shall become a heap, a habitation of jackals, an astonishment, and a hissing without inhabitant. Together they roar like lions, and they shall growl like lion cubs. In their heat I prepare their feast, and I shall make them drunk, so that they rejoice and sleep a never ending sleep, and not awake, says Yahuwah. I shall bring them down like the lambs to the slaughter, like rams and male goats. And oh, how Shishak has been captured, the praise of all the arets been seized. How Babel has become a ruin among the Goyim. The sea has risen over Babel, and she has been covered with the ruin of its waves. And her city has become a ruin, a dry land, a desert, a land where no one dwells. Neither does Son of Man pass by it. And I shall punish Baal and Babel. I shall make him spew out what he has swallowed. And Goyim shall no longer stream to him. Even the wall of Babel shall fall. Come out of her midst, my people, and let everyone deliver his being from the burning displeasure of Yahuwah. And lest your heart grow faint, and you fear the report heard in the land. For a report shall come 1 year, and after that, in another year, a report shall come, and violence in the land, rule against rule, and therefore see the yeomen are coming, that I shall bring punishment on the carved images of Babel, and all her land shall be put to shame, and all her slain shall fall in her midst, and the Shemian and the arets and all that is in them shall shout for joy over Babel, for the ravagers shall come to her from the north, says Yahuwah. As Babel is to fall for the slain of Yashrael, so for Babel the slain of all the arets shall fall. You have escaped the sword, go away. Do not stand still. Remember Yahuwah from afar, and let Jerusalem come to your heart. We are ashamed because we have heard reproach. Shame has covered our faces, for strangers have come into the Kodesh places of the house of Yahuwah. Therefore see, the yeomen are coming, Yahuwah, says Yahuwah, that I shall bring punishment on her carved images, while the wound grown throughout all her land. Though Babel should mount up to the Shemian, and though she should make the height of her strength inaccessible, ravagers shall come to her from me, says Yahuwah. Listen, a cry from Babel, great destruction from the land of the Chaldeans, because Yahuwah is ravaging Babel, and shall silence her loud voice, and her waves shall roar like great man. The noise of her voice shall resound, because the ravager shall come against her, against Babel, and her mighty men shall be captured. Every one of her bows shall be broken. For Yahuwah is the ale of recompense, and he shall certainly repay. I shall make her rulers drunk, and her wise men, her governors, and her deputies, and her mighty men. They shall fall asleep and last in sleep and not awake, says the Malek, whose name is Yahuwah. Thus says Yahuwah, say, behold, the broad walls of Babel are completely demolished, and her high gates were burnt with fire, and peoples labor in vain, and the Goyim weary themselves for fire. The word that Jeremiah, the Nabaim, commanded Seraiah, son of Neriah, son of Maxiah, when he went with Zedekiah, the king, the Malek of Yehuda, to Babel in the 4th year of his reign. And Seraiah was a quarter Adon. So Jeremiah, who wrote in a book all the evils that will come upon Babel, all these words which have been written concerning Babel. And Jeremiah, who said to Seraiah, when you come to Babel, see it, and read all these words. Then you shall say, O Yahuwah, you have spoken concerning this place, to cut it off, so that none shall dwell in it, neither man nor beast, for it is a ruin forever. And it shall be, when you have ended reading this book, that you shall tie a stone to it and throw it into the midst of the Barak, and shall say, so does Babel sink and not rise from the evil that I'm bringing upon her. And they shall weary themselves. Thus far are the words of Yahuah. So there ain't no coming back. So this Babel has been, boasting about their great comeback, but this is the big payback from Yahuah. There is no rising up for it again. No, there ain't no coming back for her. Like he said, those that have been against the Yahuah will not rise up a second time. There is no rising up on the second time for these evil places, especially Babel. You know what I'm saying? And so all I can say is, all you can do, Yashrael and the grafted ones, chosen ones, remnant, whatever, is just prepare yourself spiritually, like I said, making sure your lamp is staying full, that you're staying in the word so you know what's going on, because unfortunately that religion of Christianity is making people think that it's the adversary that's doing this, when really it's the Most High. So they're actually are practicing Satanists, praying, trying to pull out and trying to hinder or stop the move of the Most High Yahuah, but it's not going to work. It's not going to work, and that's real sad. So, like I was saying earlier, last night, I like I said, I don't share my dreams, but I remember seeing the black horse. And automatically after that's in Revelation, yeah. And we know that the black horse is actually the third seal, right? And we know that the white horse is the conqueror. But we know the red horse is war. So time is going fast, y'all. The black horse is the third seal. It's the third seal. So I'm going to read Revelation 6 so y'all can understand what I'm talking about. I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard one of the four living creatures saying, like a sound of thunder, come and see. I looked, and a white horse, the conqueror, who sat on it holding a bow. And a crown was given to him, and he went out overcoming to overcome. And when he opened the second seal, I heard the second living creature saying, come and see. And another horse, fiery red, war, went out, and it was given to the one who sat on it, to take peace from the arets, that they should slay one another. A great sword was given to him. And when he opened the third seal, I heard the third living creature say, come and see. I looked and saw a black horse, famine, and he who sat on it holding a pair of scales in his hand. And I heard a voice in the midst of the four living creatures saying, a quart of wheat for a yom's wage, and 3 quarts of barley for a yom's wage. And do not harm the oil and the wine. The oil and the wine. Who is that? That's us. You know what I'm saying? The Most High, like I said, is going to preserve his people. He has given specific instructions for those that he's using, his servants, right, to not touch his people. And trust and believe they know. Because in the book of Jeremiah, when that stuff was going on and the king of Babel came in and his chief was there, the chief was like, oh yeah, the Most High told us not to touch you. They know. They know. They look. All right, let's keep going. A quart of wheat for a young's wage, and 3 quarts of barley for a young's wage. And do not harm the oil and the wine. And when he opened the fourth seal, I heard the voice of the fourth living creature say, come and see. And I looked and saw a green chloros, horse, death. And he who sat on it had the name death, and the grave followed with him. And the authority was given to them. See, the authority was given to them on a fourth, over a fourth of the arets to kill with the sword, with hunger, and with death, and by the beasts of the arets. And when he opened the fifth seal, I saw under the altar the beings of those having been slain for the word of Yahuah and for the witness in which they held. And they cried with a loud voice. And this got to be around the time of the Anti Mashiak, because remember, he gonna be trying to slew, and that's how people gonna know that he's the Anti Mashiak, right? And they cried with a loud voice, saying, "How long, O Adonai, Kodesh and true, until you judge and avenge our blood on those who dwell in the arets?" And there was given to each one a white robe, and they were told that they should rest a little while longer, until both their fellow servants and their brothers who would be killed, as they were, was completed. And I looked when he opened the sixth seal, and saw a great earthquake came to be, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and moon became as blood, and the stars of the Shemayim fell to the arets as a fig tree drops its unripe fig, being shaken by a strong wind. And the Shemayim departed like a scroll being rolled up, and every mountain and island was moved out of its place. Look, y'all gonna even shift these islands. Okay, let's keep going. Every mountain and island has moved out of its place, and the Melicans of the arets, and the great ones, and the rich ones, and the commanders, and the mighty, and every slave, everyone free, hid themselves in the caves, in the rocks of the mountain, and said to the mountains and rocks, "Follow us and hide us from the face of him sitting on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb, because the great yom of his wrath has come, and who is able to stand?" So, y'all was letting me know, which I'm letting you know, we are in the third scroll of the black horse, the famine, where people are working just to get food, and that's not even enough. But we already passed the second scroll, which is the war, the red horse. We are in the time of the black horse, and after that is the pale green horse. And let me tell you, when Yah says there'll be no healing or no cure for you, that's those are the wicked. See, they've been giving us pharmaceuticals, right? But then they are doing naturopathic medicines. How is it they banned us from doing that, but then they don't take pharmaceuticals? But see, y'all remember my last video, I said the Most High is the one to pick and choose how he's going to heal you. But see, if you under the Deuteronomy 28 curses, which getting ready to happen to these wicked people, they're going to try whatever they can, and they play is going to be a lot worse than what it was back then, but they ain't going to get no cures. Nope. But the Most High is going to heal his people. Sure is. So, all I'm going to say is make sure you stand in his word so you can keep your lamp full, so you can endure to the end. And they're going to come with their reports each year. Remember, one day is equivalent to 1,000 years to the Most High Yahuah. So when I think about it, yeah, they thought they had plenty of time, but they out of time now. That there's no recovery for them. They're done. They're done. Like, and he don't want nobody to perish. Now we're not supposed to sit here and boast what happened to them. But what I'm saying is, God's in control over everything. Everything. And we cannot be in a place that we begin to water down the power of the Barak HaKadosh. If people try to kill Paul, Yahusha, and all them, and they could not. And let's not forget the man Simeon Toka that says, "You trying to get rid of me, but there's gonna come a time there's gonna be more people like me. They're gonna be like immortal." Let me tell you something. You feel with the Ruach HaKodesh, you're not leaving here until Yah is done with you. He the one that gets to pick and choose when he going to take his Ruach from you. 1,000 may fall at your side and 10,000 at your right hand, but it shall not come near your dwelling place. No deadly pestilence shall not come near your dwelling place. You, like Yahushua said, you could drink something poisonous and it will not kill you. Look, let me tell you something. That's some people that is filled with the Ruach HaKodesh of the Most High. So he's going to provide. Did not Elisha purify the water? Did not one of the prophets accidentally put poisonous herb in the thing, and he put flour in there and it became edible? Look, let me tell y'all something. Stop stressing about what is collapsing, man's system collapsing. Y'all is more powerful than any man's system. Look, they can try to drain your account, but let me tell you something. Y'all can put money in your account right now. And they can't trace it. Y'all can make it where a lot of y'all buy land, and the land, because remember, the economy got to drop. They're going to try to keep land from you, but guess what? Y'all going to have this people to buy land that they don't even think is valuable. And you're going to be able to get it for nothing. And guess what? You're going to be prosperous in that land. Let me tell you. Don't deny the power of Yahuah, because if back in the day they rebuilt, they had their own Rosewood, and we understand a lot of them got caught up in AME. But let me tell you something about people back in the day that was not allowed to read, that was not allowed to have banks, that was not allowed to have medical hospitals, that was not allowed to have things. What makes you think the Most High ain't gonna do it again through you? But it's gonna be better, because guess what? The fact that you're with Abba Yahuah, when the fire gets set to it, it will continue on standing. They're not gonna be able to destroy it, but theirs is gonna crumble and fall. Okay. I'm getting too happy, but this is what we have to do. Right now, you're just in a place of incubation, of getting prepared, sharpening up your skill. So what? If you can't do it, Yah is going to provide. Let me tell you something. It's more of us than it is of them. And Yah comes to us in our time of need. So it may seem like you lacking something now, but you ain't lacking nothing. Your treasures is stored up in the Shemi, and when the Most High ready to release them to you, oh baby, he gonna release it. Okay? But that's for you to do the kingdom work and to help your brothers and sisters that are in need out here. Okay, to do the kingdom work. Your car out of gas, let me tell you something. Y'all can have that car running and it ain't gonna make no sense. And they be looking at the dominant. It says E, but that car is still able to put. You can't deny the power of the Most High Yahuah and his Ruach. You just can't. So we ain't got time for no pettiness or no division, Yashrael. We gotta get it together. Cause I'm not going to say time is running out. Time is running out for the wicked, but time is just beginning and being added onto Yah's children, the remnant, the engrafted one. And that's what you have to look at it at. All right. So on that note, I hope this video has encouraged you and uplifted your Ruach. Don't grow weary and faint doing great things that the Most High calls you to do. Yes, it seems like you living from paycheck to paycheck. Yah, the Most High, Yahuah sees everything. Just like in the book of Ezekiel, he sees what all the scheme and plot and plans they doing behind the wall. He ain't stupid, okay? He far from it. He knows our so-called brothers and sisters that done sold us out for a piece of shekel, okay? But their economy gonna dry up too. So nothing new is done under the sun, but we getting ready to get the finale of Yahuwah's movie. This is why time is speeding up, y'all. So all praise to Abba Yahuah. All praise to Abba Yahuah. Do y'all hear me? This is all you can do, is shout and give praise to Abba Yahuah, because greater things will come for you, Yashrael, those that are really seeking the face of Yah. You're not stuck on just bloodline stuff. No, your heart is after Yahuwah's heart. You know what I'm saying? You really have a heart to serve your brothers and sisters. Because trust and believe, we got brothers and sisters in Yashrael that got money, but they ain't gonna tell you that. So, but y'all is even showing the tares within Yashrael as well. So don't even be concerned with that. Them Pharisees, Sadducees, and yeah. But anyway, much love as always. I was not planning on coming on here today, but yeah, I already had this written. But when I saw that, when I had a dream of the black hordes, just like not too long ago, I heard the shofar being blown in my dream. I said, yeah. So I could have kept this to myself, but I felt like, no, this is not one of those things that you keep to yourself. This is something that needs to be heard. My people need to know what scroll has been opened, and or come aware and discern what scroll has been opened, or the scroll that's been opened. And this is where now gas prices, food prices, and all, and it's going to get worse. But let me tell you something, you got to learn. It's like my video, back to the root. Our ancestors knew how to take little scraps and make a lot out of it. They, and the oppressors intentionally did that. And this is where we got soul food. Now we know not to add no pork and then to it, because that's unclean, and no shrimp and stuff. But Yah has supernaturally made us that when things get hard, look, he knows how to increase and multiply when oppression gets harder on us. We don't decrease, we increase. When things get harder on us, okay, when the pressure gets on. I noticed when I was in school, when pressure was on, it seemed like I did so much well on my final exam. Not trying to procrastinate, but I wouldn't do well all through. But when pressure came on with them final exams, I was able to do well. So that's what I'm saying. We're not about to decrease, y'all. And yes, it's a lot of people that's going to die within them, but those that are not, and choosing not to walk with Yah, but of Yashrael, you about to be a fruitful and multiply, and you about to be abundant in this land. That's why Yah said, forget the former things of old. I'm doing a new thing. He's doing a new thing with you. It starts with you. Ain't nobody setting the blueprints. Ain't nobody has done it before you. Your grandparents and stuff, the Most High may have thought, help them see a glimpse of it, like Moshe saw a glimpse of the promised land at a distance, but you're the one that's going to walk in it. So keep your head high, not prideful. Stay humble and teachable, and allow the Barak HaKodesh to teach you and order your steps. You may have your plan, but the Most High is the one to establish them. If they decide, if you go on your job today and they decide and say this is your last day, rejoice, because the Most High getting ready to open other doors for you. And it may seem hard because you must crawl before you can walk, before you can fly. But the Most High got you. He got you in the palm of his hand. Your face is tattooed on his hand. But let me tell you something. When Yah said he got you in his hand, he said, can't nobody snatch you from me. Head out. Look. So rejoice. Rejoice like the birds. They ain't worried about nothing. I put seeds out here. My birds been having a field day out here, like they in the buffet, and I got to go out here and refill it. But yeah, I got you. Abba Yahuah got you. He got you. Even when the little you have, he can multiply it. Do you hear what I'm saying? You're not gonna lack. Like Daud said, never have I seen the righteous forsaken, or seed begging for bread. Yah says you will not lack no great thing. And he's not a man that he should lie. So on that note, y'all be Baruch as always. Go back and read Jeremiah chapter 50. Let me go back and see. 50 and 51. And then go back and read Revelations 6, so y'all can see what I'm talking about. They about to come down, like I said, with this whole traveling thing. Y'all want us to be still and know that he is Yahuwah. Now, he understands you got to go to work or whatever, but vacation ain't about to be the same. Because it's only going to be the wealth and the wicked But let me tell you, that's their target. So don't even be upset about it. You can find something to do that doesn't require you to spend money. I don't like to use the terminology picnic because that's what they used when they was hanging our relatives, and they would sit back and watch and laugh. But you can always go to the park and cut up you some fruit and stuff, and you and your children or whatever do that. You can go to the beach for free if you want. There's free things. Get out in nature, get sunlight, because we always in the building. We need the sunlight. We need that vitamin D. You know what I'm saying? Get the fresh air, right? Now, they said we have allergies, but no, it's because we've been inhaling artificial air. It's like our body is trying to say something that we came from naturally, because man came from the arets. Dust you came from, and dust you go back to, right? But we're not allergic to this. They have done this by those, Baka. So there's things. Our ancestors did things when they didn't have money, but they made it work. You know what I'm saying? So on that note, y'all be Baruch as always, because I can keep talking. And I hope this has Baruch y'all today on this wonderful, beautiful sunny Yom. We have finally got rain for the past 3 Yomins, y'all. It was a drought in North Carolina. I said, come on. But he brought the rain. Praise Yah. I get so excited about rain. It can be draining sometimes, but I get excited because it's a need. You know what I'm saying? So y'all be Baruch as always. And share this with someone that really needs to hear this word. Alright? Don't hold it for yourself. Alright? Because I see y'all next time on Out the Box Kingdom. Talk with me, Out the Box Kingdom. Barak Shalom.